And we cut across to breaking news coming in. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has tweeted that Prime Minister Modi called upon Dhankhar and expressed great pain over the abject theatrics of some MPs, and that too in the sacred Parliament complex yesterday. In fact, the tweet that reads, and I quote, received a telephone call from Prime Minister Modi. He expressed great pain over the abject theatrics of some honourable MPs, and that too in the sacred Parliament complex yesterday. He told me that he has been at the receiving end of such insults for 20 years now and counting, but the fact that it could happen to a constitutional office like the Vice President of India, and that too in the Parliament, was unfortunate. I told him, Mr. Prime Minister, the antics of a few won't prevent me from performing my duty and upholding the principles enshrined in our Constitution. I am committed to those values values from the bottom of my heart. None of the insults will make me change my path, unquote. This is the tweet that has been put out by Jagdeep Dhankhar after that video where TMC MP went on to mock him, he mimicked him, and it was Rahul Gandhi who was making a video of the same. Remember, a complaint that has also been filed by Supreme Court lawyer Abhishek Gautam, specifically accusing Banerjee of defamation against Vice President of India. This complaint that was officially submitted at the Defence Colony Police Station in Delhi, urging authorities to take appropriate action against the TMC MP. Bringing in Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, who is with us on the phone line. Abhishek, details as Jagdeep Dhankhar puts out, Prime Minister Modi called him and said that I have been at the receiving end for 20 years, but it is highly shameful that the Vice President of India is also being subject to it.
Well, yes, in a tweet which sort of gives an idea of the kind of communication that has taken place, Prime Minister sort of boosting the morale of the Vice President, or actually not boosting the morale. Remember, Vice President is a constitutional position in the speaking order, in the warrant of precedence ahead of the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister essentially just sort of discussing and speaking to the Vice President and telling him from his own experience that these kind of political attacks are to be taken in stride. It's the only unfortunate part is that the opposition sort of breached a certain line in terms of attacking a constitutional position, to which the Vice President responded by saying that he's going to be unwavering in his duty and is not going to be adversely affected by what has happened yesterday. But more importantly, Suesha, what this means is that if you read between the lines, this is again yet another upping the ante from the government side. They are not going to blink. They are not going to be cowed down. They are not going to give in to the opposition. And if need be, this standoff is going to be escalated if the opposition so wants. So I think while the opposition says or takes a position that this is an onslaught on democracy, that this is stymieing the functioning of the parliament by suspending the entire opposition and to still run legislative agenda like we have seen yesterday. But I think the government believes that a certain red line has been crossed. The pandemonium that reigns otherwise also does not let the House function properly, which is the ultimate objective. Also remember that the kind of use of placards that was done, the manner in which the opposition MPs went up the podium of the chair, all that was discussed at the Business Advisory Committee meeting, and a decision was taken in principle that nobody would carry placards, which means there was planning. If you're carrying placards inside the House, shows that you came with a lot of planning. You prepared in advance with the intention to disrupt. So if the opposition has that kind of intention, then obviously they shouldn't be crying, a death of democracy and those kind of ideas when their intent is not to let the House in order. Their intent is to filibuster. Their intent is to disrupt. So I think that's the position on both the sides. We are seeing meetings happening in Parliament as we speak of both the camps of the Treasury and the opposition benches. The Congress party is having a separate meeting and to devise a floor strategy on how to take things forward. It's unlikely. This phone call actually suggests that it's unlikely that there is going to be backing off by both the sides. And so we are going to see this staring down at each other in the remaining 2 days of the parliament yet still.
Absolutely, Abhishek. Thank you for speaking to us and, of course, putting that into context. Meanwhile, my colleagues Akil and Anuj, who are also joining us live on the broadcast. Akil, we need to reflect that a complaint that has now been filed by a Supreme Court lawyer, and the fact remains that it sends out a very wrong message to the entire country. Give us those details.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Prime Minister also raised concern regarding that incident when certain MPs have made Vice President Dhankhar just inside the Parliament complex. And the Vice President also said that in a tweet that PM Modi has called this incident very unfortunate and expressed a great pain after this incident. And he also further added that the Prime Minister also said that he was at the receiving end of such criticism in the past for the last 20 years. And while responding to the Prime Minister's call, Vice President also further said that these things won't affect him to perform his duty. So this is, of course, such a grief situation right now, and the Vice President has also communicated with the Prime Minister on this very subject. Yes.
All right, Akhil, do stay on with us and we'll try and fix that audio line while you were speaking to us. Anuj is also with us on the broadcast. Anuj, the opposition in the meanwhile continues to remain defiant. On the contrary, they are making allegations against the centre, saying that they are being silenced, and it is a part of a larger plan, even questioning that 92 MPs have been suspended, and is the centre even trying to function in the House without an opposition altogether. So in that sense, there is no remorse over this insult to Jagdeep Dhankhar.
Well, exactly. That's something what has been understood by the Prime Minister himself, because none other but the Prime Minister who called Jagdeep Dhankhar, and that is something that has been tweeted by the Vice President himself, that what has happened, and Prime Minister himself is looking and is concerned about the series of events which is happening. On the other hand, Jagdeep Dhankhar, the Vice President, is coming out with a line that this is not going to stop me, none of the insult is going to stop me. Whereas if we talk about the proceeding of the Parliament, we are continuously seeing how the opposition is very much adamant, and they are demanding the Home Minister to come in the House and to speak about the breach incident, the security breach incident of the Parliament. But whereas this has been categorically cleared that this is not under the jurisdiction of Home Minister, but this is under the Lok Sabha Speaker, the committee has been formed, the teams have been formed, and they are going to reply, and they are doing their investigation. The teams are working. That's something which is clear by the Home Minister side or the government side or Bharatiya Janata Party, which is very much clear. But there the opposition is continuously seen making ruckus in both the House. Numbers of MPs are being already suspended. There is no opposition left in the houses. That's the condition at this point in time is. But there is attack and counter-attack which is going on. This is blame game which is happening, and the opposition with their line. What we are seeing today, again, what we have been told, this is going again the protest of the opposition leaders who have been suspended. They are again going to be there at Pakardwar. They are again going to do the sloganeering.
Going to get a network as you're speaking to us. But we are tracking the story very, very closely. And this is the latest that is just coming in. Of course, Prime Minister Modi having called on Jagdeep Dhankhar, saying that he has been at the receiving end for more than 20 years, and it is highly shameful to what has happened in the Parliament premises, where that video has also had a complaint against it. We do track the story closely. For the moment, we move on.